So I'll say something that I never thought I would ever say in my entire life. I miss China.
If I could have chosen to be born anywhere in the world, it would have been China.
Should we call this reverse culture shock or reverse homesick? I think they kind of mean the same. I don't know what's the right term for this. Americans who get to test the quality of life in China always report of great comfort compared to their home country. So apart from the easy access to transportation, affordable housing, healthcare, and many more that we can number, food remains top on the list. Hello amazing viewer, delighted to have you once more at Comfort for Life. I bring to you compilations of TikTok and Red Note videos for educational purposes. If you are new here, consider subscribing, and to my returning viewers, I love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for keeping it up here. You guys are the real MVPs.
I miss China. This is day one of returning to America. I'm on a trip back to Los Angeles. I live in Shanghai. This has been a very rough 24 hours. I have not been back to the United States for a year. I'm just speechless at the way we live as Americans, at the way our cities are designed, our food is, we talk to each other, that corporate life is. I try to explain to people what it's like to live in a society that's safe and has access to good food and good public transit and clean streets, high-speed rail. They look at me and they're just like, what? There's no ability to conceive what it's actually like in a more developed society. Drive around Los Angeles and you see homeless people, you see graffiti everywhere, garbage all over the streets. I paid $42 for a coffee and a poke bowl yesterday. Can't believe that we live like this. We think that it's acceptable have our fellow citizens sleeping on the street, garbage everywhere, all be in our individual cars, going to our job and then drive our car back to our home and then sit in our home and ignore each other. Like, this entire society is just engineered for corporate profit. From a non-capitalistic place to the most capitalistic place. And the quality of everything, of life, and what that does to us and the way we treat each other is just mind-blowing. We have so much more money than the rest of the world. There is no excuse that we do not have the best of everything. Compared to China, we got very little.
Did you know China consumes 50% of the world's vegetables, 29% of the world's meat, and 37% of the world's fish? According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, the average person in China eats 408 kilos of vegetables every year. That's the highest in the world. In total, that's almost half of the vegetable on Earth. And meat, China eats 29% of the world's total. Our per person amount is far lower than the US, but still 1.7 times the global average. As for fish, we eat 37% of the world's supply. Thanks to fish, eggs, and plant-based protein, China's average protein intake is actually higher than the US. But the top three countries are Iceland, Israel, and Ireland. China comes in at number 7. Today, in China, eating well and healthy is more than survival. It's part of culture. So tell me, what's the one food you can't live without?
91% American households are not rich. So why is economic policy written like everyone in the top 10%? In 2024, 30% made under 50K. Another 30% made between 50K to 100K. Only 8.8% made over 250K. That's real America. That's the real breakdown of the incomes. By August 2025, Trump's new tariff brought in about $150 billion. Who paid? You did. You as consumer did. Average household costs about $1,300 a year for these tariffs. For a 50K family, that's rent. For top 10%, that's pocket change. That's nothing. Some of you, maybe the wages are up too. But the costs are rising faster. Food, rent, utilities, all climbing. And if your pay goes up a little bit, you can lose food stamps or housing aid. That's how the system locks you in. Tariffs could be offset with tax credits or cost of living adjustments, but that's not happening. The money disappears into projects that don't really help working class families. The economy is working for the top 10%. For everyone else, it's just getting worse. And the reason I kept talking all about this is very simple. If the money actually went back to the working class, they'd have more money to spend, they'd be healthier, happier, and be able to buy more. That spending fuels the US economy, and yes, it also benefits the country like China that manufactures what Americans buy. If most of Americans don't have money, that affects everyone else. That's why it matters. I have a full article, full breakdown on my Substack, link in bio, and thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Take care.
It's gotta feel good to be Chinese right now. Like, they've gotta feel exactly as good as it feels bad to be an American with a functioning brain right now. They are like on the exact opposite trajectory as the United States. Like, we've just been on this rapid decline my entire life, and then they've been on this upswing for the entire time as well. Like, if I could have chosen to be born anywhere in the world, it would have been China. Back in the 80s when I was born, it probably wouldn't have been great, but my entire life would have been my country improving and getting better, whereas as it's been here, my country's just been getting worse and worse. Like, literally, they are winning on everything. Their economy is the best, their government is the best, they're working for their citizens rather than for corporations like it is in the United States. They have, like, universal home ownership, everyone has savings, they have retirement at like 58, they've got everything that they need to survive. We don't even have national health care or a living wage here. We have homelessness. In allegedly the richest country in the world, they've eradicated homelessness essentially. And the rest of the world actually likes them. They use the Belt and Road Initiative, like kind soft power, to build relationships overseas where the United States just invades anyone and bullies people economically. I'll take that over this, let me tell you.
I read that 75% of Americans are overweight and roughly 40% are obese. When you hear people say America is failing, it's not only from a financial standpoint. As a whole, America is failing. The quality of life, safety issues, the food, health, opportunities, interests, debt. And this is why life is so difficult in America, because people are failing in every category. Can you imagine a person who doesn't travel, out of shape, overweight, they don't eat healthy, they work a normal job, but rent, insurance, student loan, food, expenses, everything is too high. Now they can't save money, neither can they invest. They don't even think about investing, because at that point, you're just trying to survive. Why do you think all these people are depressed and commit suicide? Because they feel like they're failing in every category. You got single men out of shape, barely make any money, can't afford anything. They can't go anywhere, they can't travel, they can't do anything. They're in a box. That's why it's only right to surround yourself around people like me, because if I can get out of this, you can. It's just about how determined are you to do it. You can't take no for an answer. There's always a way.
I'm really tired from a long day at work, and I'm really wishing that I was in China right now because I miss it. So I figured I would just film a video of some things that I miss about China, just to kind of get the feelings out. So one of the top things that I miss about China is the people that I met. I loved the teacher that I had while I was studying in China. Background: I studied in China for a month in March of this year, in Kunming, China, which is like in the Yunnan province, in like southwestern China. So I studied there for a month, and it was so much fun, honestly. Like, everything there is so different, and I met so many people. Like, I met people from Germany. I got closest with a few students that were from Germany, which I thought was funny because there were a lot of German students for some reason. And I met people from Australia, Poland, Switzerland. There was a student who lives in Japan. And I loved everybody that I met. Like, everyone was so sweet and nice, and we were all there for the same reason, so it was really easy to connect over that and then kind of segue into a actual friendship based on that connection. And I love my teacher. Shout out to Zhang Laoshi. She's amazing. Love her to bits. I'm still studying with her online because I want to get proficient at Chinese, even though right now I can barely hold a conversation. If that, at the end of the month, I could shop pretty well in Chinese. Like, I could ask like how much things were, or if I could try something on, things like that. Just like simple phrases, but I would like to get a lot better, so I'm still taking classes. Another thing I miss is just like being able to walk around the city and like feel safe while doing that. Because something about being in cities in America is that like I never really feel safe. Like, I'm always like on high alert. So it was really nice to like not have to feel that while out and about. Like there was one time where I was out with a friend until 9:30 or 10 at night, and she wanted to go meet another friend for dinner, but I was really tired and I wanted to go back to the campus. So it was like keep in mind, it was like 9:30, 10 p.m. It was pitch black. If I was in a big city in America, I would never have done that. But I walked back to the dorm by myself. It was like a 20-30 minute walk. And I felt completely safe while I was doing it. Like I had no fears, nothing. Like it was just amazing to be able to do that and feel like peaceful while doing it. So yeah, that's another thing that I miss. I also really miss the metro because public transportation is amazing and we love her. It was so clean. Like everything was so clean. Like you would see people sweeping the streets at all hours, like through the night, through the day. You would like look around and you'd see at least one person like sweeping the streets. And so everything was just so spotless and clean, and it was amazing. It was nice to be able to look around and see what happens when people actually care about the community and environment that they're in. Like on that level, you know? Like I feel like in America we don't really have that. Maybe in some places we have it to a certain degree, but not to that level, I don't feel, or at least not that I've experienced. So yeah, those are a few things that I miss about China. I also really miss the food. The food was amazing. Like steamed buns and the dumplings, favorite things ever. I had so many of those while I was there. Like I kid you not, I tried like, had to have been like at least like 5 or 10 different types of steamed buns. And then I would go back for more, the ones that I really liked. And then I had dumplings, probably like at least every other day. Yeah, I had dumplings pretty often because they were delicious and they were so cheap. Like I could get like a bowl of 20 dumplings for like cents, like a few dollars. Like it was ridiculous. So I literally just kept going back for more. But yeah, those are a few things that I miss about China. I'm probably gonna keep talking about China. I really enjoyed my time there and I really want to go back. So
China has 26,000 miles of high-speed rail and the US has 0. So I feel like I can pretty much leave it at that. Like, imagine if I could get on high-speed rail to go to the Bay Area or Denver or something, like that would be sick. But I can't. I either have to drive or take like a super slow, super expensive train. It sucks. Also the comment on China's youth unemployment rate. If China's unemployment rate for like 18 and 19-year-olds is high, that's a good thing because people shouldn't be joining the workforce so young like they have to in the US, that they actually get the chance to be young and go to school. Yeah. Anyway, literally considering China went from like a complete peasant state exploited by Western powers to where they are now is pretty incredible.
Who could ever imagine that an American would have wished to be born in China? The tables have turned. Like when I heard that statement, I had to rewind. Guys, I wish I was born in China from an American. Oh no. And I want us to not miss the point right here. I hope that those who get to enjoy the comfort in China also get to learn their history and understand how they got there. It took hard work, sacrifice, a lot, you know. Understand even the 100 years of humiliation. Get to know the entire history so that as you get to enjoy the comfort, you also get to share in the memories that they share and cherish. And that keeps them there. Yeah, we have a lot to learn from this country. I must confess this, when I started sharing videos about China, I thought I would run out of content, but right now I'm running out of time.
It's true, there's still poverty in China, still a lot of poor people. But that doesn't change the main story of the past 30, 40 years that China has steadily getting reduced poverty. You couldn't even imagine, like me personally, when I was in my childhood, lived under poverty. I experienced poverty, and I witnessed that how my family get out of poverty. And I witnessed pretty much all the family around us get out of poverty. It's almost a miracle, okay? So less than one generation live under poverty and see your family and your neighbors live in middle class. Just one generation. Pretty much 80% of people in China. It's a miracle. If the world missed that main story and focus on all the bad things about China, of course there's many, many bad things about China, I admit. But if you miss that main story, you are missed the 90% of the picture. Okay? But China will still be China, the same China. That's trying to improve ourselves. Maybe achieve another miracle. God forbid. But how the world view China wouldn't change China. Okay? Okay, current situation, I will just give one example. Out of all my friends, childhood friends, I can pick one that's living in the edge of poverty. He never finished high school. He never leave our hometown. Every time I talk to him, he had a different job because he couldn't. When you're doing low job, there's no continuity anyway. So that's his situation. But I'm telling the truth. He traveled more than I do. He took more vacation than I do. Mainly because in China, taking the high-speed railway to another province is just so easy. It's so cheap. I look at the airplane. If I need to go to another state, $500. For him, that's the equivalent of like half the rent of something, right? But for him, he look at the price. It's one day's meal price. $10. Okay. I'm saying this because you can see some policy benefit poor people. For example, the high-speed railway, it really benefit poor people more than middle-class people or more than rich people. Rich people can always take airplane, can always travel overseas. But poor people, if they have the option of buy a cheap ticket, get anywhere. So the high-speed railway, which China has the most, is a good policy. It's proven to be a good policy. And the miracle that I talk about in the past 30, 40 years are because of these policies. If you miss, if you only see the negative part of China, it's fine.